right?
Yeah.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord. Y'all see that? Hey guys, Randy Howell here, and I'm sitting in my boat, and I'm actually sitting on the lake side at the campground at Lake Dardanelle State Park. I actually fished a tournament today, the first day at Dardanelle. I haven't done this wrap up for Rayburn yet, and I wanted to sit down here real quick and do it while I still remember the details from Rayburn. We finished 20th there, had a good run the first 2 days, and if you guys were keeping up with it and watching it, I had right at 24 pounds the first day, and I had 20 pounds the second day, and then the third day, I dropped with 11 pounds. Didn't catch a good fish. Could not catch a good one to save my life the last day. Had a really good practice there. I'm telling you, this jerk bait, you've seen it in every wrap-up video. This is the one jerk bait. Look how beat up and worn out. This is the Livingston 121C, and Hank Cherry had a good tournament there and finished top 10. And he was throwing jerk bait. He was throwing this color, and then a fish broke his last one off, because this wasn't really a color that was for sale. This was just a sample color, and it ended up being a good color in dirty water, and it's caught a lot of big fish for me. But I caught that 6'8" on Bassmaster.com. You probably saw the photo gallery. There's really good pictures of that 6'8". It came on this jerk bait. Caught a 6'13" at Toledo Bend on the same jerk bait, and this is a sweet one. It's all beat up, but color doesn't matter that much as long as it's got a good flash to it. So like the regular sexy shad, any of the white colors, like I got a whole box full of them right here, any of the good shad colors on the jerk bait. This is another one that when that's how you put them in your box right here. This right here, this is like a pro blue color. This color is good in stained water as well. This is the color I would rotate to every once in a while on a second rod, just seeing if color mattered, and they bite either color. But anyway, jerk bait, I threw it on 14-pound Gamma fluorocarbon line instead of 10 or 12 because I didn't want it to go as deep. Fishing grass, and I found them in like 5 to 8 foot deep grass. And me and Robin and Laker and Oakley, we caught a lot of fish there. We scouted there right after the Classic. We went there for a week, had a good time there with a couple of our friends in that area there, helped us, you know, fed us and took good care of us. Ray Beck, hats off to him, he's a good friend, and he helped us there. And then my other good buddy, CJ Nichols, a policeman over in Louisiana, he helped us there, give us his little cabin to stay in because we didn't have the camper with us. We went out there and fun fished and ended up finding that jerkbait pattern like 6 weeks prior to the tournament. And we came back and it was still working. I couldn't believe it. But what I added into it that was working good this time, the water was in the bushes still. Most of the fish had already gone offshore, but there was still a lot of fish that were roaming around in the shade of the bushes, and because we'd been so much rain that the water stayed cool. So a frog pattern came into play, and that first day, that 24 pounds, I caught majority of that 24 pounds the first day came on that frog, because I found a couple areas that had little wolf packs cruising around. You'd have a bite, and they'd swim out with my hooks cut off in practice. They would swim out of the shade line into the sun, and I'd see them, and there'd be 4 or 5 big ones following it. And I really thought, man, if it would stay like this, I would have a shot to win. But I figured it wouldn't stay like that because the water was dropping every day. We were on the tail end of it, and it was kind of over with pretty quick. But that was a great first day. Second day, the jerk bait paid off for most of my weight. Caught a few culls on the frog, just throwing a popping frog on Ishman Rowe's frog rod, the Tatula Elite 7.4. That's it, the frog rod. And I actually flip and pitch with it and do a lot of other things with it, but it's called a frog rod just because it's so light. It's got AGS guides. It makes it stay really balanced in your hands, so you can see a lot of the cast I'm making up in the cracks and the hard to reach places. That's where you got to throw that frog if you're going to catch fish on it. So especially when it's not a real frog pattern going on. The 8.1 retrieve reel, if you watch, man, some of these fish I'm catching in these places, I mean, when I hook them, it's like wide open trying to winch them out of there. And if you didn't have a super fast reel like this 8.1 Tatula SV reel, you wouldn't get them out of those bushes. They'd go right or left, end up hanging you up and causing trouble. 70-pound Samurai braid, that's a big deal. That's 70-pound, it's small diameter Samurai and J braid both. They're both about the same and the same small diameter. But that's the setup for the frog. The setup for the jerk bait did I already say the setup for the jerk bait was my Randy Howell rod? I got a crankbait tied on right now on this rod. but that right there is the 7-foot medium light. It says right on there, shallow cranking, jerk bait, and lipless. And that's why you see I got a crankbait, a square bill howler on here now, because I throw that on it too. I use the same SV Tatula reel, but the 7.3 retrieve for my jerk bait and my shallow crankbait, stuff like that. So that's the two patterns. Let me show you, let me give you a little sneak peek at this frog. This is a Livingston frog, and I threw it a little bit. I only had a couple prototypes. This is still the last prototype that I have, and I'm kind of scared to fish with it much because they're glued together inside, and I want to show you what's inside this Livingston frog. This little capsule right here, see this? That's what's in the head of this frog. This little capsule has the battery and the chip, and it has the electronic frog sound, so it sounds just like a frog. If you listen, it'll go rear, 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 rear. That's pretty good, huh? The way that you hear it, you put up the ear and you can hear it when you touch the hook hanger. But that is what's going to be inside the frog. We worked on it forever and made it. See these big stout hooks? You can pull a grouper off the bottom of the Gulf with those hooks. They're so solid right there. It's a little bit bigger, fatter frog. It pushes a lot of water because it's heavy, and it'll sit in one spot and you can just walk the dog out of it, and it's going to be a really good frog. So be watching for that Livingston Freddie B frog to come your way really soon. Hopefully iCast will have the production models out to show, but that's going to be the deal right there. I throw a popping frog a lot in these last couple tournaments because the popping frog is a little bit smaller. I can get it up into little tight spots and skip it in a lot of places and make a lot of noise with it. You know, since it doesn't have sound in it, I try to splash and make a lot of popping sound with it so that the fish are attracted to it. They really think it's a brim a lot of times, or a shad. They don't really think it's a frog, I don't think. You know, a lot of fish I'll get in, I'll say, hey, did you think this was a frog or did you think this was a brim? And most of the time, the look on their eye, they think it was a brim or shad. That's my opinion. So enough comedy for now. But that's the deal. Watch for this frog. Get you some Tatula Elite rods. If you go to the lake like Rayburn, it's got a lot of fish in it, man. You can just go. That lake is probably the best lake, best condition I've seen a lake in a lot of years. Just how healthy it was because it had hydrilla and milfoil in it everywhere. That's the lifeblood of the spawn. We had a ball there. So be watching also our show, The Catch with Randy and Robin. We did a show with the boys and Robin on Sam Rayburn, and this is where we got on the jerkbait pattern. You'll be able to see it on that show. Chris is about to have that show ready. It should post. It may even be posted by the time you see this wrap up, and you'll be able to see kind of how we broke down that pattern. So anyway, yeah, let me tell you about our boat tickets too for the boat for King's Home. We hadn't talked about that lately. It's still kind of early in the year, but tickets are available on kingshome.com already. After the Classic, we started the ticket donation. So go on kingshome.com. We'll be running specials, giving t-shirts away and doing things at different times, so be watching for that. We're doing the giveaway. It'll be the 7th boat we've given away this year, I think. 7? Yep, I believe that's right. I think we did 6 last year. We raised over $750,000. So thanks to everybody there for donating, and be watching for that. We'll be getting into that later in the season, November, I think November 12th or November 18th. I believe it's, which one is it, 18th? Yeah, November 18th. My camera girl just told me. So we'll be ready for that when the time comes. You'll get tired of hearing me talk about it later, so you be ready for it. So go and get your ticket now and get it early, because we want to hit 2,000 tickets this year if we can. So anyway, till next time, I'll see you guys on the water. We'll have a wrap up for Dardanelle coming after this one. So good luck. God bless you. We'll follow you. Follow us on Facebook, and we'll answer your questions. We'll talk to you soon. See you.